Monday, or in Monday's lesson rather, we spoke about our first geometric reason, which was angles around a point. Okay, and we spoke about the fact that this geometric reason tells me that if I have a point, sort of anywhere on a diagram, if I were to add, and I actually don't like my diagram, sorry, I'm going to change that. If I have a point, and if I sort of add any of the angles that sit around that point, so any of these 4 angles, if I add them all together, I'm going to end up with 360 degrees. That's what the reason tells me. So if I've got multiple angles, or even just angles around one central point, if I add all of those angles up, I'm going to get 360 degrees. Now this sort of makes sense. If we look at what I've just drawn here, this beautiful diagram over here, if we sort of trace that path, what I'm forming is a circle. And we know that a circle, its full sort of revolution is 360 degrees. So all the angles around that central point should add up to 360 degrees. Now, we also spoke about how in geometry, it is super, super important that when you make a statement, you have to give a reason for that statement. And we learned that if we're going to use the statement of angles around a point, or if we're going to use angles around a point to find a missing angle, then my reason would be angles around a point. Now, what's quite nice in maths is you don't have to write out 4 sentences, and you can use like symbols and abbreviations to represent certain things. So just that we all know what's going on, this little SQL over here means angles, and you can use that abbreviation at any point. And this PT is point. I've just abbreviated it. So angles around a point is the reason that we spoke about on Monday. So let's have a look at an example here of how we can go about finding our missing angle. Now, guys, as we do more and more reasons, there'll often be lots of different ways that we can sort of find the answer with lots of different reasons, and that's absolutely fine. Sometimes you'll see one reason easier than another, or sometimes it might be easier to use one reason than another. And as we do more and more of these, you can sort of choose what you're more comfortable with and what is then mathematically correct in the question. So let's have a look at this very first one that we have. Now, I'm sort of making that statement about using different reasons because some of you may have done more reasons than just angles around a point, and so you may have other reasons for this. I am going to use angles around a point because that is what we have done so far. Alrighty, so looking at my question, I can see that I've got a central point over here that I'm drawing in green. And I can see that if I go and add all of the angles around that central point, so if I add this 45, the X, the 45, and the 135, I should get 360 degrees. So what we can do is we can go and write an equation for ourselves. Sorry, I just want to take off my scarf so that there's no muffling of the sound. We want to go and now set up like an equation for ourselves that we can go and find X. So let me get a better color here. I have just made the statement that if I add X plus 45 plus 45 plus 135, I should get 360 degrees. And that is because I've said all of those angles around that central point must add up to 360. Now, guys, remember, I've made a statement, so I need to give a reason. And my reason is just angles around a point. Now, your reason always goes in brackets, and it must sort of go with the very first statement that you make. You can't leave your reason right to the end, because otherwise all of your working out sort of has no meaning to it. We haven't given a reason for why we're doing this. So remember your first statement and then your reason. Now we can go and solve for X. So this is an equation. So what I know is that I want to bring all of these constants, so the 45, the 45, and the 135, I want to bring all of them over to the right-hand side of my equation because I want to solve for x, so I want to get x alone. And I know that the only way that I can do that is to use my inverse operations. So I will have x on the left, and then I'll have 360 minus all of those values, because that's what happens when I go and bring them over the equal sign. So minus 45, minus 45, minus 135. You can just type that into your calculator. There's no need for you to try and do that all in your head. When you type that all into your calculator, you get that x is equal to 135 degrees. And so what we have found is the value of this x angle that was missing, and now we know it's 135 degrees. And you can go check yourselves, guys. If you now go and add the 135, the 45, the 135, and the 45, we know that we should get 360 degrees. So I'm seeing some of those x equals 135s on the chat. Well done. That's really good. Well done, guys. But that is essentially how we can use this reason in one sort of example. All right, so if you need to take a screenshot, please do so. If you have questions, please just shout. Otherwise, we'll have a look at our next example. Oratilia, I see on the chat that you've used another reason there, and that is absolutely fine. You can definitely use that reason. We haven't done it yet, so that's why I'm not using it, but it is a perfectly valid reason that you can use. Okay, so guys, again, I have seen that all of these angles are around a central point, and so I know that they almost add up to 360 degrees. All righty. So let's have a look.
Okay, we just have another question. Can I take some question? Is it fine?
Yeah.
Okay, Tejo, you can go.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, I don't understand how you got the 360 because when I added all the numbers, it gave me 225.
Okay, when you say you added all the numbers, did you add 45, 135, and 45?
Yes, 45 plus 45 plus 135.
Okay, so I agree with you. That definitely does give you, and let me just take some of these scribbles off on this diagram so that we're not confusing ourselves. So I agree. If I add all of those yellow angles up, those three, I get 225 degrees. But remember, what you're trying to get or what you're trying to solve is this missing angle X. Now, what we know is that all four of those angles form a circle. And that's why I'm using 360 degrees, because there are 360 degrees in a full circle. And so if I know that I already have 225 of those 360 degrees, if I go and say 360 minus 225, which is basically this step here, I just didn't write it as 225, you will go and get your missing value of X, which is 135.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, cool. Alrighty, guys. So let us have a look at another sort of recap of what we have done. So here we've got three different angles. Now that 230-degree angle is what we call a reflex angle. A reflex angle is an angle bigger than 180 degrees. So just in terms of naming angles or being able to identify angles, an angle that's bigger than 180 is a reflex angle. Okay, now again.
I think Marlene might want to answer. Marlene, I hope this is to answer. Let's hear from Marlene, because I see your hand is up. What's going on, Marlene? You have to unmute on your side, Sweetie Pie. Marlene? Okay. Marlene, I'm going to just put your hand down because you need to unmute on your side so you can talk to us. But if that was to answer, oh, there we go. Hi, Marlene.
Hi, teacher. Sorry, you pressed the wrong button.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
No problem.
Okay, no problem. I'll just put on mute and put the hand down. So you put your hand up only if you have a question or if you want to answer the question. Thank you so much. Oh, I love all of you guys when you like to participate. Okay, let's do this. And I
Alrighty,
think
guys.
they should
No,
give
sorry.
this one a try. Now I'm just thinking that they should give this one a try. My people should give it a try. I see Bulela already has an answer. What about the rest of you guys? What did you get? Let's do this. And if you are bold, Teacher Sam would like you to actually solve for her, you know? Raise your hand so that you can tell us how you got the answer.
And I'm seeing some great answers so far, guys. So essentially what we're asking you to do here is I want you to find that missing angle X. And as Yolanda says, give it a try by yourselves before we work through it. And if you would like to, please raise your hand so you can explain to us what you did.
Yeah, my people. Let's do this. Let's see. I know I have like some clever bees over here. Let's do
Yeah.
it. You know how to
Guys.
raise your hand. So raise that hand and explain to us, how did you get your answer? I see all these answers on the chat, but I want to know, because I'm also learning. I want to know, how did you arrive to your answer?
Anyone feeling brave, guys? We'd love to hear.
Yeah, Abiwe. Oh, guys. Oh, it will make me cry. Look at you. Okay, Katli, we are all yours. Katli, you want to unmute on your side? There we go.
Yes, ma'am. So what I did is I minus 230 with 60 to get my answer 70.
So exactly how did you write it? So Teacher Sam can write what you. So remember, you are teaching everyone on what do you have on your step. So this is out of 3. Hey, Teacher Sam. So let's see. Katli, let's go. Explain to us, how did you write so that you can get your answer X?
I'm fine, ma'am.
Okay, so what did you write down on your paper to get your answer?
I wrote
Okay, let's ask a different question. What reason are you using here to get X?
Katli, that's okay. Katli, I'm sending you a hug, and I'll go to Oratile. Katli, I know you know the answer, so you can even put it on the chat for us. Oratile, we are all yours.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi.
I said 230 plus 60, that gave me 290. And then I said 360 minus 290, and it gave me 70.
Okay, cool. And what would your reason be for all of that? Because remember, we have to give reasons in geometry.
Yes, ma'am. I said angles round a point.
Awesome, cool. So I'm gonna write it just a little bit differently so that we can all see what's happening. So we know that if we add all 3 of those angles, I must get, as Oratile said, 360 degrees. So if I said X plus 230 plus 60, I must get 360 degrees. Now, guys, it's absolutely fine if you go and add the 260 and not the 260, sorry, the 230 plus 60, and then you minus that from 360, absolutely fine, right? So you don't have to set it up exactly as I've set it up. I'm just showing you sort of what we're doing to get our answer. So angles round a point is our reason, as we said. And now, exactly as was said to us, X plus, and if I add 230 plus 60, I get 290. And that must now be subtracted from 360 so that we can get what X is. So we would say 360 minus 290. And that, exactly as was told to us, gives us 70 degrees. Awesome, guys. Well done.
Guys, well done. I want you to take screenshots. Do you see the way that Teacher Sam is teaching us? So you have all of the numbers there with the reason, because that's 1 mark, hey, Teacher Sam? And then the second mark, it's probably on the third step. And then the last mark is giving your answer, okay? So you need to take a screenshot, because if you write it like this, you're definitely getting 100% on this question. Okay, so this is the setup of sort of how you should answer every single question. Guys, I'm proud of all of you. Woo! Let's move on. Let's do this.
Well done, guys. Okay, guys, just quickly, I'm happy to repeat what I'm saying, but please can we just make sure that we're listening and we're focused when people are giving answers, and then when I go through that answer, because obviously we don't want to go through things lots and lots of times and waste time. I'm going to talk through this one more time very quickly. We know that if we add all three of these angles, because they're angles around one central point, I need to get 360 degrees, right? So 360. And so all I've done is I've set up an equation so that I can solve for x. I've said x plus 60, or x plus 230 plus 60 must give me the 360 degrees. And I've gone and then solved my equation and solved for x. Alrighty, so that's all we're doing over here. And that's just a recap of our very first reason that we spoke about on Monday. Okay.
Okay, my pips, I think we are good to go. If you did take a screenshot, we are going to the next one. Okay, so that we can do this. We can keep learning. Okay.
Right, guys, and remember, like, all of this practice, we're going to do some revision of this later on. So we're going to do more practice of these sorts of reasons and stuff as we go along. But let's now have a look at our second reason that we need to know in geometry. Okay, so our second reason that we need to know is angles on a straight line. So ignore this bottom bit here for a second. I mean, obviously you can take a screenshot of it so long, but I want to talk about the very first one, angles on a straight line. Angles on a straight line basically means that if I have two angles sitting right next to each other, and they must be next to each other on a straight line, if I add those angles up, so if I add the two angles together, I get 180 degrees. Now that sort of makes sense, right? We've just learned that a full circle is 360 degrees. If I chop that circle in half, that is a straight line. And so half a circle must be 180. And if you check on your calculator, half of 360 is 180. So this all sort of makes sense based on what we've just learned. So our next reason is the fact that if we've got two angles right next to each other on a straight line, those angles must add up to 180 degrees. Right, we're going to do examples looking at this, obviously, but that is our next reason. When you write down your statement and then you have to give a reason, this in the block is what you would write down as your reason. Remember that little squiff not a triangle, that squiff L over there, or that skew L, that means angles, STR straight, so angles on a straight line. That is telling me that you know that the reason that it's equal to 180 is because they are angles on a straight line. Alrighty. Now, the second reason that I have here, I'm going to be honest with you, doesn't come up a lot. Mostly because we generally indicate to you that something is 90 degrees. And if it's given to you on the diagram, you don't actually need to give a reason. But I'm just going to put it here so that you understand, if you see this word or if you see this reason, you understand where it's come from. So complementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. Again, there have to be two angles right next to each other. If they add to 90 degrees, they are complementary. So if we have a look at our diagram, 40 plus 50 actually gives me 90 degrees. Now we know on a diagram that can be represented with that little like square in the corner. We know that that square means 90 degrees. And so if we have angles that are sitting right next to each other, adding up to 90, they are complementary. Again, we do have a reason for this. Comp angles, complementary angles. Like I said, this second one doesn't come up a whole lot. It's more angles on a straight line of these two that we use more often. I'm just putting it there so that you're aware of the fact that it is a potential reason, but it doesn't come up a lot. Right, so let's have a look at some examples of how we would use these reasons. So let's go down. Let's have a look at our first one here. So what we see is that now we don't have sort of a circle that we're working with. Now we just have a straight line. So I know that if I add two angles on a straight line, they must be equal to 180 degrees. So I can now sort of set up an equation for myself. I know that x plus 50 degrees must equal 180. And so now we've learned or are using a new reason, angles on a straight line. Remember, guys, you're going to make a statement, you have to give a reason. Now we solve the equation. We know that we would have to go and subtract 50 on both sides. So I'd have 180 minus 50, and I'm seeing it flooding the chat, which is amazing. X is equal to 130 degrees. And guys, remember, once you have your value for X, if you go and put it back into like its position where we had the X on the diagram, also it would help if I wrote the right answer here, 130. If you now go and add 150 and 130, we know we want to get 180. And so I can always go and double check myself by going back to my diagram and making sure that if I'm using the value I got, it makes sense with the reason or with the diagram that I'm working with. All right. So I saw some lovely answers. Well done.
Screenshots, guys. Remember, the next one is ours. It's ours. We're rolling. The next question is ours, right? I'm gonna see some hands flying in, but for now, let's take Ryan. Ryan, do you have any question for Teacher Sam? Would you like to ask any question?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Ryan.
Okay.
Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, I wanted to ask for the reason, ma'am, can you write adjacent supplementary angles as a reason?
Is that what you've learned in school?
Yes.
Okay, so if you've learned it slightly differently, it's fine. It means the same thing. So just for everyone listening, adjacent means next to, so the angles are next to each other. Supplementary means they add up to 180. So you can you can definitely use that as a reason. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
So guys,
Hey,
actually, so guys, on that, sometimes your reasons might look a little bit different. As long as they mean the same thing, it's absolutely fine. Okay, and guys, again, you have to write a reason. In geometry, you have to have a reason. So you will see sort of as we go up more and more, what often happens when they start to mark exams and mark tests and stuff, if you don't give a reason, you lose a mark. You might get marks later on, but with no reason, you actually lose like the first mark for your first line. So this mark, that mark over there, you would now lose that if you're not giving a reason. So you have to give a reason. All right, that's really important. And so what I would do if you want to, if you like are worried that you aren't going to remember the reasons, is have like a little piece of paper next to you in our lessons. And each time we learn a new reason, draw a little sketch. So something like that, and then write your reason there so that you always have like a little like cheat sheet of all of your reasons so that you can always refer back to it when you're studying for your tests or your exams. When you're in these lessons, you always have your reasons. Alrighto.
Okay, guys, now it's our 10. It's our 10. This one is ours. Let's do this. Okay, let's see. Just how many minutes are you giving us?
Should we say 2 minutes? And then we
2 minutes,
can
guys.
do an answer and a brain break.
Yes, 2 minutes, my peeps. 2 minutes. We only have 2 minutes, and then you have to raise your hand, put the answers on the chat also. I see Amahle is ready for us. Woo! Amahle, let's wait for everyone. Just hang in there. I'll unmute you right now. I just want to see some answers on the chat. What did you guys get? What are you getting, my pips? I can see them coming. I can see them coming. You guys are doing really, really well. I'm so proud of everyone. You have no idea. I'm clapping my hands and and just doing the clicking because of everyone. Okay. Amahle, we are all yours, teachers, girl. Amahle, you need to unmute on your side. There we go.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
So, ma'am, I said, since the answer is supposed to give us 180, I said 60 plus 80. No, I said 180 minus 80.
Okay.
minus 60.
Cool.
Yes, go.
Should give us
And
X.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And what's your reason, Amatle?
Angles on a straight line.
Awesome. Well done.
Go.
Angles on. Okay, you can keep going. I'll catch up.
And then once I did that, I got an answer of 40.
Awesome. Well done.
You did well.
Okay, guys, exactly. So, as Amatle said, we know that if we take all three of these angles, because they all sit on the straight line and they're all next to each other, remember we can see that all of these angles are right next to each other, which is really important. If we add them all up, I should get 180 degrees. And so once we say 180 minus 80 minus 60, we get X. Now, if your setup looks a little bit different, so yeah, looks a little bit different. So you could have set it up like, 60 plus X plus 80 equals 180 degrees. So if your sort of setup of the equation looks a bit different, that's okay. There's lots of different ways to write it. But what is important is that you're understanding that we need to subtract 80 and 60 from 180 in order to get our answer. Okay. And again, even if you add 60 plus 80 to get 140 and then subtract it, that's also absolutely fine, right? But just remember to give your reasons for the answers that you're writing down. Okay, so as Yolanda says, take your screenshot if you need it.
Your time to shine. Take screenshots. Remember, you can look at it when you are sitting down and you're relaxed so that you can understand it much more. Okay. Are we doing a brain break?
We are indeed.
Guys, we need to come up with a name, okay, of our brain break. We need like an active class. I know that grade 9 calls brain break Brian. We call it also, I don't know which name do you guys want, but we should give it a name.
We should. And this
look at that
time I
book.
will remember it.
Yes. It's a good name, my babes. Brainstorm. Maths reliever. We need to choose one, okay? BB. Brain train. Okay, my peeps, let's try it. Let's try what's going on there.
Okay, so guys, remember a brain break is just to give yourself a little break from what we're doing. Give yourself a second to also get up and stretch, make sure that you're comfortable. If you need to run to the loo, or whatever you need to do. And then the brain break, I do a different thing every week. This week, I'm sort of asking you what is the value of one triangle, one square, and one circle if we look at the picture. Now, guys, that's a scale. So basically, it's saying they must be of the same value. So what is your triangle, your square, and your circle? And if you, I'll give everyone a second, obviously, but if you'd like to raise your hand and share with us how you got your answers, that would be awesome. Okay, but otherwise, if you're not doing the brain break, make sure you're stretching, getting ready for our next couple.
Yeah, so Kopano wants to give it a try. Kopano,
Awesome.
we are all yours. Have you figured it out? Kopano, you must unmute on your side. There we go.
One triangle is equals to 30
And how did you get that?
because one square is equals to 60. So you said they both must be equal. So it means that one triangle is equals to 30.
Awesome, well done. Do you want to give us the orange square as well?
No, Fatima.
Well done, Kopano. You did well, though. I'm so proud of you. You can try and figure it out, the orange one. We're going to take Amahle for now and then see. And Kopano, if you get that answer, put it on the chat also, okay? Well done. Amahle, we are all yours. Do you have an answer for the orange one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me.
So for 2, since we know that the triangle is 30, those 5 orange boxes should all be equal and should give us an amount of 30. And the only way we could do that is with 6, because 6 times 5 equals 30.
Awesome, well done.
Oh, well done. So I see Nati. Nati, are you gonna take the last one? Oh, my people are so clever. Well done, I'm proud of you. Nati, let's go. Nati, it's your time now.
Ma'am,
Yes.
for me to get the circle, I had to say 6 times 6, and it
Awesome.
gave me 36.
Awesome. Nice, well done. Ow. Sorry.
Guys, we nailed this. We nailed
Nice.
it. Our BB. I don't know if we are calling it BB. I just
Our
remember
BB.
that we name it BB, but with some other names also. I don't remember now.
I'm gonna have to write them all down. Okay, guys, so just
or brain
quickly.
freeze.
Yeah, I saw brain freeze come up quite a lot. Brain train. I'm just writing these down so that I don't forget them, because my memory is not great. Brain.
Refresher. Nati said, refresh. There's a lot of them. Okay, so every single time we're gonna keep on rotating about these names.
Alrighty, guys. So if you're not understanding, basically remember this is a scale. They have to be equal. So if one block over here is equal to 60, 2 triangles together have to equal 60. And because they're 2 of the same shape, each of them have to be 30. Now, if we know that one triangle is 30, and that must then be equal to 5 squares, I need 5 of the same number that if I put it together will give me 30. And if I've got 5 6s, so basically 6 times 5, I get 30. And from that point, if I know that one orange square is 6, 6 orange squares give me 36. All right. So again, it's just a little like brain teaser, brain break, brain exercise, all of those fun things that you can give a try as a little break, and then we will carry on with our questions. But well done, everyone. I saw some great answers coming through.
Well done, my babe. Let's go. Let's move. So proud of you. And I know you're going to nail the quiz. Do you know that it's a quiz day today? We're going to nail it. Teacher Sam, can we try this one? Because we've already practiced. It's the same as above. So guys,
Absolutely.
let's give it a try.
Okay, guys, so that's the third or the next one that we're going to have a look at. Now, the only sort of clue I'm going to give you is that, remember, we've just looked at arrears and angles on a straight line. So there's a straight line. There's 2 angles on that straight line. So what I want from you is the value of X. So give it a try. If and when you're ready, you can pop your answer in the chat or raise your hand, and then we will have a look.
So no, we can see your answer already. What does other people think? So
We agree.
give it a try, my pips. Let's do this. I'm shouting out to Innocentia. Innocentia, everyone, and also including you. You are also clever. Everyone in this class is clever. So guys, remember that you must explain how did you get that? So I guess I see some hands there coming up. So the rest of you, please do try put your answers on the chat. I'm gonna talk to who haven't we talked to. Fezeka, we are all yours. Fezeka is gonna give us the answer to this question. Fezeka, teach us. You need to unmute on your side, Fezeka.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I said x plus 60 equals 180, and then I said 2x equals 180 minus 60, and I said
sorry, girl. Before I want to disturb you, so we need a reason, girl. Remember that first mark is gonna be gone. Let's put our reason there so you can get four marks. I like what you're doing so far. Well done. Let's give a reason.
I said angles on a straight line.
Yes.
Good.
Oh, yes. Let's move on.
And then I said 2x equals 120 degrees, x equals 60 degrees.
Awesome. Well done. And I love your setup. That is great.
Yeah. Oh, my turn.
Okay. Right. So guys, there's just something I want to no. This is awesome. So we know that x plus 60 must equal 180 because exactly angles on a straight line. Remember, they're right next to each other. So they need to be in order for us to use angles on a straight line. And then we solve for x. Now, guys, what's really important is that you've just got the value of x. So what you now know is that this small angle over here is 60 degrees. And this bigger angle here is 60 plus 60 degrees. So only once you have x can you now work out the sizes of each of those angles. But what you have found is that the x variable represents 60 degrees. And so now, as I've already said before, you can check your answer. If you go and substitute that 60 back into your diagram, when we now add together the value of those angles, so 60 plus 120, I do get 180 degrees. And so I've perfectly used my correct reason of angles on a straight line. Well done.
Well done, my pips. Tepi, is that a hand to ask a question? We can give you this one, Tepi. Let's ask the question.
Hi.
ma'am. I wanted to ask, don't you say 2x over 2 and equals 120 degrees over 2 to get 60?
Okay,
Oh,
so you
yes. Sorry
Yes.
to Joseph, you can go on. I think maybe we need to explain in details on the other side. Like this, no one is missing anything. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Tepi, exactly. So once we get to the step of 2x equals 120, I would definitely agree with you. We need to say 2x divided by 2 and 120 divided by 2 because we want to get that x alone. And so exactly, once we've divided both sides by 2, 120 divided by 2 is 60. And then just to clarify, what we're doing sort of in the step before we get to 2x equals 120 is we are saying 2x is equal to 180 minus 60 because we're bringing that 60 over the equal sign. So we're using our rules for solving equations to get x alone. But well done, good spotting of that. And exactly, we're doing, as I've said, our rules of solving equations. And again, guys, if yours looks a little bit different, it's absolutely fine.
We still get the marks. We still get the 3 marks, guys, as long as you have your step above, which has a reason, and then your middle step and your last step, you get your 3 marks.
Exactly. So exactly as Yolanda said, as long as you've used your reason that you're using correctly, how you set it up, if it looks a bit different, is fine. We set things up differently, and that's okay. Cool. Are we ready for our next one?
I just have Lita.
Okay.
Lita, would you like to ask your question? I see people on the chat are ready already for the next one. Take screenshots, everyone. Okay, so I think Lita just made a mistake there. Guys, we can move on, right? Let's move. Which
We're
one?
gonna move. Sorry, I'm wanting to pick a specific one. Right, so this is our next one that that I'm asking you to do. So have a look. You've got 2 angles there, x and x plus 70. So have a try of this one for me. And as well, if you want to raise your hand and give us your answer, would love to hear from you.
Let's do this, my pips. We're giving you 1 minute to solve this one. Remember, you always need to give a reason, okay? A reason is important. But I'm so proud of every one of you. Let's see those answers on the chat, and those that are feeling brave, let's see those hands up to answer, right? But let's give people on the chats to calculate and write things down because it's important.
Exactly. And remember, guys, those reasons. If you're not giving reasons, unfortunately, you're going to lose marks, and we don't want to lose marks. Oh, got a hiccup. We don't want to lose marks for silly reasons.
Definitely, definitely. I see. Okay. Looks like we are ready.
Nice, guys.
Let's see who we haven't talked to. Kamohelo. I think we are your teachers. Let's see.
Ma'am, so what you're gonna do, ma'am, is gonna say x plus 70 equals to 180 degrees, ma'am. Then, ma'am,
Your
the
reason?
next
Hey,
reason, ma'am, angles on a straight line, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, what you're gonna do next, ma'am, is x plus x is gonna give you 2x, ma'am. So you're gonna say 2x plus 70 equals 180, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
And ma'am, what you're gonna do is, ma'am, you're gonna take the 180 minus it with 70 degrees, ma'am. It's gonna give you 110 degrees, ma'am.
Cool.
Yes. Well done.
Then, ma'am, what you're gonna do, ma'am, is you're gonna say 110 degrees divided by 2, ma'am, because we have to get each for x, ma'am, which is gonna give you 55 degrees, ma'am.
Awesome. Well done.
Nicely done. Oh,
Right.
on a card.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Belinda is so proud of you guys, as am I.
Yeah, I'm really proud that I'm sharing it here right now. Oh, you're gonna
Guys-
nail this in your exams, guys.
Sorry, I just want to move that up a bit. Awesome, guys. Well done. And again, if you've done it slightly differently, that's okay. In this case, your only reason would be angles on a straight line. So you'd have to use that reason. But if your setup looks a little bit different, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so remember, yeah, remember these are angles on a straight line. So I know that if I add them together, I have to get 180 degrees, right? So that is what is happening in our very first step here. We've said if we add the two angles together, I get 180. And then we go and solve for x. Remember, when we're solving for x, we're using our rules of solving equations, which means that I have to subtract 70 on both sides. And in order to get just x alone, I have to divide both sides by 2 so that I'm canceling out the 2 and getting x alone. Okay, so that is sort of the only reason we can use. You can sort of miss out a few steps if you're more confident with solving the equation. But if you're sort of still getting the hang of solving equations, those are all of the steps that you would use to solve that equation. Okay.
Hey, you guys did well. Are those hands up there too? It can't be to answer, right? So if you wanted to answer, please lower your hand. If you want to ask a question, let your hand remain there. So I'm going to take you now so you can ask your question. Okay. Anganati, we're going to start with you. You can ask your question.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I wanted to ask if where did you get the 2x?
Okay, so the 2x came from sort of adding the x plus the x. Those are like terms. So, oh, sorry. Those are like terms. So when we add them together, we get 2x. So that's where my 2x came from.
Oh, thank you.
Cool.
Okay, so Tejo, we have you. You can ask your question.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
can I go back to the other angle before this one?
Sorry, we're now all over the place. This one over here.
Yeah, ma'am, how did they get 120 degrees?
Okay. So just remember, it's the inverse operations. When I take this 60 and I move it over the equal sign, I have to minus 60 from 180. And 180 minus 60 is 120.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
No problem. And then guys, just because I saw a question in the chat now, in the last example, we did still get 2x. So we had 2 x's, we added them together. So there is that 2x, alrighty. So let's go back to that question that we just did. If you need to take a screenshot, let's do it. And then, oh, we definitely have time for lots more. Love geometry.
Yeah, my people are nailing this. Guys, I'm proud of every one of you.
Right, I'm just
I
making
am so proud.
Right, let us try this one over here. So this one that's sort of taking up your screen.
Spicy question. Let's do
Because you
this.
guys are doing so well. Okay, so have a look. You've got 68 and you've got 3x minus 20. Have a look carefully and see which reason you could potentially use, and then try and set up your equations that you can solve for your unknown. Okay, so I'm going to give you, I think, 2 minutes is fair.
Let's
And
go, guys.
then
We have 2 minutes.
if you are feeling like it, please raise your hand and let's hear how you did it.
Shout out to Kelebogile. Kelebogile, I can see you, girl. I hope you're writing some stuff down. I see you, Kelebogile. Yes, you. You just looked away, but I am shouting out to you. I hope you're writing something down. Let's do this, my people. I see Matthew is focusing. Well done, Matthew.
Nice.
I love all of you guys. So awesome to be in this class. I'm having so much
See
fun.
everyone working. You guys are doing so well. Well done, everyone.
Hey, can I take them to answer? I see some hands already.
Cool.
Hey, Adi, we are all yours. Let's go. Hadi, you might have to unmute on your side. There we go.
Hi.
I don't understand, Mel.
What don't you understand?
This question.
Okay, so just remember, these are angles on a straight line. So we know that if we want to add them both together, we should get 180 degrees. So that's the clue I'm going to give you to try and help you get what X is. We need to use some of our geometry reasons that we've learned.
Okay, you can do this, Hadi. You can do it. So you're just gonna try and work it out on your book, okay? And also listen when they give an answer to see where you are going wrong or to see where you were stuck so you can learn more. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, guys. Hlono, I think we haven't talked to you. So Hlono, let's go. Let's answer this question. Hi, Hlono. Hlono, you're unmuted, but we cannot hear you, Suripai. So sorry. You can put your answer on the chat, okay? We'll be on the watch out for that.
I did see it on the chat, and that's great.
Yeah. Anyone else who is brave enough to come and teach us how to do this question? Come on, my people. You cannot disappoint me. Come on, let's go. Let's do this.
Right.
Yes, Lita is to rescue us. Lita, you have to unmute on your side.
Okay.
Hey, teach us.
Hello, Ceci.
Lita, are you here? Okay, Lita, I'm gonna just have to mute you. Sorry about that. You can put your answer on the chat. Yana, we are all yours.
Mommy, how do you buy from?
Here we go. Okay. Pulenyana, we are all yours. What's going on, guys? Are you unmuting? Are you not unmuting? What's going on? We can give this one there to Teacher Sam because we're running out of time. Teacher Sam can explain to us this one. Like this, you guys can do the quiz for us.
Alrighty, guys. So like I've said, when we look at this, we can see that we've got angles on a straight line. So what that means is that when I take 68 degrees and I add the 3x minus 20 degrees, I have to get 180 degrees. Now remember, we have to have a reason if we are going to make a statement. So this would be angles on straight line. and then we can start to solve for x. Okay, so what's a little bit different here is that in the last examples, the operations were only addition. Here we've got a subtraction, so we just need to be careful. Now there's lots of different ways you can do it. Yours might look a little bit different to mine, and remember I've said that's absolutely fine. So I know I want to get 3x alone on the left, and so what that means is I need to get the 68 and the negative 20 over to the right hand side, and the only way for me to do that is to use my inverse operations. So what that means is I will have 3x is equal to 180, but now using my inverse operations, I need to subtract 68 and add 20. Now I'm adding 20 because it was a negative. I have to do the opposite, and I have to plus 20. Okay, so when I say 180 minus 68 plus 20, I get an answer of 132. X equals. From this point, I know I have to divide both sides by 3 because remember, I just want the x. And when we say 132 divided by 3, I get that x is equal to 44 degrees. And then remember, guys, like I say, if you want, you can now take your answer and substitute it back in place of x. So you would have 3 times 44 minus 20. And you can check that that answer plus the 68 does give you 180 as it should. But when we're solving for x, this is how we need to do it. Okay, so a little bit trickier because our operations were a bit different, but the same concept as what we did in the previous 2 questions.